You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Weekly Business Hour, and I'm Rick Schissler. I'm your host. I'm also a Silver Fox advisor and the founder of OneBestConsult.com. Well, welcome to this week's show. I think we've lined up a good show for you. A lot of good ideas, good information, hopefully, that you can use in your business, perhaps even today. Our first question of the day, I'd like to start it and make it fast. At this point on the calendar, we're winding down the first quarter of 2022. Just a few days left. And my question back at you is, will you have the information? Will you have a report on your financial success by April 10th? In other words, will your financial statements be ready by April 10th? 10 days or less is what should be your mark on getting your accurate, correct financial statements in your hand. I find too many businesses wait too long to get those statements. Some business don't even pay attention. But how can you run and succeed and grow a business without knowing what your numbers are? So I encourage you, if your numbers don't get to you by the 10th of each month for the subsequent period, in this case we've got a whole quarter, then you need to look into how you can get that process working to your advantage. Why? Because then once you look at the numbers, you can adjust. We have to be quick on our feet these days, right, to be successful in business. So you only can do that if you have the information to make the best decisions you can make for your business. So 10th of the month, remember that, by the 10th. I know some businesses have them by the 5th, and that's great because they've got a 5-day head start on making those adjustments, if necessary, in their business for the next quarter and the balance of the year. So remember, the 10th, it's a deadline. The Weekly Business Hour is where Montgomery County and businesses even throughout the world who listen to us on the internet. Here locally, we're live on FM 106.1, 104.5, and we're also on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So you can find us in many places. They come to listen to this program based on all the feedback I get to get ideas, to get information, small business information. And that's what we try to do, is provide information from a bevy of experts, from local entrepreneurs right here in Montgomery County, and from people who send in an email, part of our mailbag, which we have one of those today, the mailbag to answer questions that are important to you in your business. And a reminder to you that if you have a question, an observation, comment about the show, or you have an item for the mailbag, please send it to me, email it to me. Just send it to OneBestConsult, that's the number OneBestConsult@gmail.com. I respond to every question, every comment, everything that comes in, and some of them do make it to the mailbag, so you get your question and answer on air. So please drop me a line at OneBestConsult.com. Well, today's show, we have a unique interview and conversation with a group of people. Our friend Dr. Patrick Woock, who is the director of the McNair Center on Entrepreneurship and Free Enterprise at the University of St. Thomas, has been putting on a class right here at the University of St. Thomas Conroe campus. And this Entrepreneurship Bootcamp is focusing on veterans, veteran-owned businesses. We had a chance to visit one of their get-togethers a couple weeks ago, and Dr. Woock and I visited, and then we visited with some of the vets that are taking the course and talked about the value of getting some formal education as an entrepreneur. And I think you'll really enjoy this segment and hopefully, again, stimulate an idea or two that you can use in your business, perhaps pursue some education. So we're going to first listen to my conversation with Dr. Patrick Woock and what the School of Entrepreneurship is doing with this boot camp. So please listen, and I'll be back with you at the end of the conversation. Able to talk to a good friend of the Weekly Business Hour, Dr. Patrick Woock. Patrick, good morning. How are you?
Thank you very much, Rick. I'm pleasure to be here downtown Conroe, and it's a beautiful day here on this Saturday, rodeo weekend. And also for some of y'all out there, it's the beginning of spring break. Some of my friends are like, what are you down doing in Conroe? You should be out in the street. But I love being here, and we love being here for this program for our veterans, and that's the whole purpose we're being here today. Is this we're doing a veteran entrepreneurship boot camp here in Conroe as a part of our MAX series, part of the University of St. Thomas, and really a pleasure to be a part of this interview and being a part of this community.
You know, this is an interesting concept. I mean, boot camps for entrepreneurs has been around for some time. But doing one here in our local area, Montgomery County, Conroe, for our entrepreneurial leaning or successful vets, what created the idea? Where did that come from for the University of St. Thomas and you to put that kind of program together?
Well, we were very lucky at the beginning. I know Mayor Jody reached out to us at the beginning of the program, and of course, Dr. Ludwig at the university was a part of spearheading this program. And I think part of it is we wanted to have a place that it was attractive to veterans to help start their businesses. You know, there's a lot of programs out there for for technology, for healthcare, focusing really on a lot of developmental technologies. But there wasn't really anything here in Montgomery County really to help veterans, and especially veterans who wanted to start businesses. I don't know if you know this, but when we look back, going back about 20 years, veterans were really one of the core business people that helped start businesses, entrepreneurial businesses here in the United States. And over the years, for a lot of different reasons, because of opportunities and because of transitional programs, it hasn't been really as the focus as it used to be. But we think we need to change that. We need to start here in Conroe, really focus on helping people who want to be entrepreneurial, give them the opportunity, and give them that maybe nudge in some cases, because sometimes of course you got to push people, but also give them the tools. And I think you and I know, because of you being an experienced business owner and serial entrepreneur, is when you provide tools, you provide opportunities, that's when magic happens. And we really want magic here to happen, not just in Montgomery County, but here in Conroe.
You know, in your position as the director of the McNair School there and Entrepreneurship and Free Enterprise, entrepreneurial education in general is sort of a tricky thing, I guess. I was an entrepreneur, I got a lot of education, but not directly on entrepreneurship. But today there are lots of programs around at universities, colleges, community colleges. How do you sell the idea that I need an education?
Well, that's a very good question. And I think as a serial entrepreneur myself, I think one of the things that we kind of look back is we say, well, entrepreneurship can't be taught, right? We're like, you either are or aren't entrepreneurship. And I agree with a portion of that. I think there are people who tend to be entrepreneurial. I think though and those people go out, the Stephen Jobs of the world, they're going to be entrepreneurs no matter what. But I think there's also another layer of people who want to be entrepreneurial, but they need the tools. They need someone to support them. Maybe they lack the confidence. They lack that person to nudge them along the way. Maybe they were introverts like myself. They're sitting behind the computer all day long, and there was just no one really there to support them and encourage them and say, look, you can do this too. And so we're just that force behind just nudging them a little bit, giving them the tools, and supporting those people who wouldn't necessarily, get the opportunity. As I said earlier, the Stephen Jobs, the Musks out there, they're all going to start companies, right? And those are the ones you see on the spotlight, right? But there's a small business owner. I think you and I can agree with this. They're really the heart of today's business, and they're building. They build all the things that we consume at our restaurants. The clothes that we wear, the things that we do locally. They do all those things for us, but there's no one out there looking out for those people, we'll call them Main Street people. And I want St. Thomas and I want the McNair Center to be there for the Main Street entrepreneur.
That's one thing that's very interesting, because part of what I do is I'll sit down and have a cup of coffee or visit with people who would want to start a business. And about half the time I talk them out of it. But one of the main components that is missing or needs to be shored up is their education, right? Because they have an idea and they have maybe that passion. But I think even if you look in Jobs' background or Musk or any, you're going to see they got some kind of education.
Exactly.
In my case, I grew up in a family business from the day I was born. So I observed. I mean, that was a wonderful education for me. So people need some kind of education to help them avoid pitfalls, accountability. That's one of the weaknesses in that area that I find with people. So I think this is a great concept. Now you're in your first class here in Conroe with this boot camp. How's that going for you?
Well, it's been really exciting. And we were talking earlier on about the challenges early in this year, with COVID and Omicron and all these. So we had to look, kind of reevaluate the format, because originally we wanted to go all in person. And so what we did is we built a kind of a hybrid format. We went entrepreneurial, right? So we built a format where we'd have the classes virtually, but we get together on the weekends to have a coffee clutch. We talk about things. We get in our huddle. We call them the huddles, and we discuss issues that we're having with our company. And so this way, it allows us not only to learn virtually, but then also use our knowledge together, and we get to learn one-on-one. Because as I know, the real power, we can go to these workshops, we can go to these educational seminars, but the real power of education is coming from David and from Donnie, and from communicating with each other, Leanna, when we're talking to each other and we're learning from each other. That's when the education keeps going on and on and on for years to come. And that's what we want to do, is we want to create that consistent year-long learning, or maybe years-long learning.
Yeah, one of the things that you and I discussed before we went on the air was the idea roundtables, or the opportunity to get together on a regular basis, whether it be weekly or monthly. And as a Silver Fox advisor, I advise roundtables. I'm a mentor for-profit and nonprofit. But the value of that education that you continue to receive from your fellow business people, it makes all the difference in the world. I see it. My members tell me that. It's just amazing how that continuing education, if you will, pays off time and time again.
Absolutely.
When I contend one of the loneliest places in the world is to be a business owner, because you don't have people to talk to. Exactly. You've got a challenge, you got an issue, you've never experienced it, you'd like some advice, you're open to that. That's what a roundtable is really about.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the things, like when we have these huddles or this forum, is like you can't really go to your employees and you can't say to them, like, I'm having this problem with this business, what should I do? They'll just look at you, you're the boss, right? And maybe the spouse, or your significant other, they may love you and care for you, but they may not know exactly what's going on. And you don't really want to go to your competition and ask them, do you? So you really need a safe group of people that you can share with. And I think this, David and all the people here that have come together, they've created, our focus is really create a safe group of people who can trust each other and share with each other. And that creates the real value that you said. You can bring those issues that you have in your business, and you can help sort them out.
Well, I congratulate you for not only giving me some formal education when I come to your boot camp, but to leave with those connections.
Yes.
And so I can have that valuable resource as I grow my business and time goes by. Well, let me ask you, this boot camp, you're about halfway through the organized program. What are the plans in the future, say in 2022, 23, with this format of providing education to entrepreneurs?
Well, knock on wood, we want to go back into having it in person, right? That would be the first step. And then I think we're looking to most likely expand it further. Our situation is we wanted to do this the first step, and first steps are always the most difficult. When you begin, you're kind of figuring it all out, and we were very lucky. We have great participants who are very dedicated to the program. We have a lot of great speakers and people who have imparted a lot of great knowledge to us. But we'd like to expand the program to be more inclusive and include more people. And I think this is really just a very good beginning step. And then eventually what we'd like to do is create a support network where all the people who have been through the program can come back over and over again and keep sharing. Because it's great that we talk about the program. It's great that we have other people talking about the program. But I think the people who've gone through it, who've been participants, they're really the great value.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. And I have to compliment you and the University of St. Thomas. You have a wonderful facility here in Conroe, and a real dedicated staff with Carla and the people that work here. I've come to classes, I've come to other events, it's a wonderful place to be involved, to get an education, right? And to meet and hang on. Anything on the horizon for you as an individual? I mean, you've got a lot of responsibility to the university and your directorship. What's going on with that?
Well, we're looking at doing a couple other different programs. One of the programs we were really looking to engage in is the intellectually and physically disabled individuals. I mean, those people, we created a lot of government programs to support their development, which is great. I think that allows us to empower them in different ways. But my vision is instead of giving people, I've always felt that instead of giving handouts, give them opportunity, right? And we're looking to develop a program with one of our sister universities in Argentina, of all places, who've developed a similar program, because in Argentina they don't have any government programs, to develop an entrepreneurial program so people who have intellectual or physical disabilities have the ability to start their own business. And we think that would be a really amazing thing. And that's something that not only we could be a centerpiece, it fits with our Catholic values of inclusivity, but also it allows us to empower people who don't necessarily have programs or opportunity to. And I think that's one of the programs we're looking to. And also we're looking to do another program for underserved business owners, people who not necessarily always have access to educational resources. We're always looking out to finding new and different ways of serving people who aren't necessarily have access to resources or money. And we want to continue to bring those resources to people who can really benefit from it. So.
Well, that sounds very exciting. I know you have a couple of your folks here today that are in this boot camp, and I'd like an opportunity to talk to them. So let's bring them on and let's have a conversation.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Rick, and thank you very much for this opportunity. If I might just real quick give a big shout out to 3 different groups. One, we want to thank the Conroe Economic Development Council. They are a gold sponsor for our upcoming pitch contest, and they've been a great contributor. John Barkley Law Firm, he's also been a silver sponsor for our program and a big supporter. And Miss Lupa from State Farm, she's been a great supporter of our program and also a contributor to our program. And I just want a big shout out to those 2 groups and 1 individual for helping us out.
Well, that's fantastic. Always good to have local support.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. Well, let's just take a short break and let's get together with some of the folks that are directly benefiting from your program.
Thank you, Rick, and always a pleasure being here.
You're live.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Dr. Patrick Woock. He does a great job for the University of St. Thomas, and as you can tell, particularly at the end of that conversation, they are reaching out through the university, through programs, to reach entrepreneurs in all stages of life, and whatever your situation is, the challenges you may face, they're trying to develop programs that is inclusive of everyone who wants to start a business. So I think it's wonderful. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to have that conversation with some of the students that are actually attending this class, and I think you're going to be amazed and interested in what they have to say about their businesses and what they've learned from this piece of formal education. So please stay with us. And remember, you can contact me at onebestconsult@gmail.com. That's onebestconsult@gmail.com. Please reach out to me. Let me know what you're thinking. If you have a particular business question, be glad to answer it. Or in particular, might put it in the mailbag and hear my answer on the air on this show. So please stay with us. We'll be right back with you.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show, with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776.
God's Garage is a 501c3 that repairs and gives away cars for free to single moms, widows, and wives of deployed military. You can help God's Garage by donating a vehicle, volunteering your time, or by monetary donation. God's Garage is located at 2106 East Davis, Conroe. If you'd like to learn more about God's Garage, visit our website at godsgarage.org. Or you can contact us and we would be glad to come and make a presentation to your group.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Weekly Business Hour. I'm Rick Schissler. I'm your host, and you've been listening to a conversation with Dr. Patrick Woock and also some of the students that he has in his class. We're going to talk to those people in this next segment, so I hope you'll listen. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to hear what, in this case, veteran entrepreneurs are learning, what kind of businesses they're involved in. I found these people to be engaging and very smart people. So I think there's something for all of us to learn. So please listen, and we'll be right back with you with the commercial break after conversation with our veteran entrepreneurs. Learn from the program, maybe even share a little bit about the business or businesses that they may be starting. So I'm going to start on my left over here. If you just introduce yourself, Kelly, tell us who you are and what your business is.
My name is Kelly Avellaneda, and we have a home building company called HGX Construction. And the reason why I joined is to know what I'm doing and resources and make sure I know everything that I need to know to make my business run well, and just for more information. And it feels good to be here with other veterans that are starting their own businesses, and we come from the same background, so it feels good to be able to be here and relate to others.
Well, let me ask you, now you said we, do you have a partner in the business?
Well, my husband and I,
Oh,
we're
okay.
in the back end. He makes the houses and I'm over here in the back.
Okay, so it's a family business. That always has some interesting dynamics. I grew up in one, so it was, I really enjoyed that format of business. Home building, big business right now.
Yes, for sure.
Now, where do you all build homes?
So we just finished one, and we're putting it on the market. So we're kind of just buying properties, building, and putting them on the market as of now.
So you're a developer. You're building the house and putting it up for sale.
Yes, sir.
Oh, absolutely. So far, the program being everything you hoped it would be?
It's a lot. And then these price increases are crazy.
Big challenge right now is inflation.
Yes.
Especially in the building business, energy in some areas. I know I have friends in the building business, commercial building. It's hard to keep track of it. Hard to do your pricing.
Yes, luckily we do have a very close connection with Complex Ready Mix. We know them, and they do all concrete work as well. They're located in Porter.
Well, that's fantastic. It sounds like you've got a real tiger by the tail there, so to speak. Great opportunity.
Yes.
Well, David, you're here. You're a veteran. What business are you in? And introduce yourself first, though, please.
David Wright. My business is Third Coast Automation and Control. I've got around 20 years of industrial experience doing process controls, industrial automation, instrumentation, electrical. So when COVID hit, I decided that was a good time for me to start this journey, and I wanted to do it for my family as well, so we can all come together and make this work. I would say, go ahead.
Oh, well, the program, what is this Entrepreneurship Bootcamp? What's the most important thing you've gotten out of it so far?
Lots of resources that I didn't expect. The folks that put it together have been great. Very helpful. Very good at pushing. I know I can be kind of like a rope. You can't push a rope, but they do a good job at it. So it's been challenging to get myself here, but because my peers, they've been a great support system as well. They're engaged. It makes me want to be engaged, and it's been great. So hopefully this will carry to my next step, and I can be able to hire people and help my community here too. So.
Well, it sounds like it's already paying off for you and your business. That's cool. It's a neat investment of your time. Well, Lena, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your business.
My name is Lena Schissler, and I started a business that provides recreational therapy for veterans that suffer with PTSD and any type of sexual trauma or domestic violence. So what we do, we provide recreational therapy through art, cycling, leisure, and peer support counseling.
Well, that has to be a big challenge. Where do you start a business? How do you start a business like that? You put a shingle on the door like they always said?
So it started from me actually coming back from Iraq and realizing that I had PTSD and the medication wasn't just the thing that I needed. I needed something else. So I started crafting, making t-shirts, and music and dance therapy really helped me. So I wanted to give back to other veterans. And so what we do is we partnership with other businesses already that has like cycling businesses. They provide art school or anything like that, and we just go in partnership with them and provide it for veterans and their families.
Now, where's your business located?
We're located in Montgomery County. We service Montgomery and Harris County. And so joining this boot camp, I joined so I could get more involved in the community and make connections and find more resources to be able to know what the needs of the community is.
And has it worked for you?
Yes, it's been great. It's been challenging. It's pushing me to not procrastinate and overthink, and then being around my peers like Kelly and David and Donnie, they actually gave me a lot of, confidence and camaraderie to help me see that, I do have a family outside of the military, which I missed that.
That's a mistake that a lot of business folks make when our people decide to start a business, is they kind of shut themselves off and don't connect with other business people. I mean, they connect maybe with their customers and vendors, but the idea that business education, business connection is critical, in my opinion, my experience in building successful businesses. Well, last but not least, Donnie. Donnie, you and I talked before we went on the air, and I mean, you've done so many things in your life. What is your business, though, that you've started? And tell the folks a little bit about yourself and that business.
Well, my name is Donnie O'Brien, and we started a counseling service called WIN Counseling. And WIN, W-I-N, stand for What's Important Now. And I understand that in counseling, if you're going to be successful, you got to decide to do what's important now. And the WIN Counseling services that we started, when I say started, me and my wife is a veteran also, so together we got over 30 years of military service together. But we started a counseling center dealing with anger management, marriage and family, parent-child relationships, blended families, grief and loss. The thing that we talked about was some people are lost and can't find their way. Part of WIN Counseling is to help people find their way. So whatever your issue is in life, we come alongside, whether it be veterans or community, children, and then just kind of help them find their way in life based on what's going on with the pandemic and the things they're going in life. And also, part of this veteran boot camp was being part of a team. I know it's kind of a cliche to say team. Together, everyone accomplished more. And starting a business, we didn't have a footprint on the ground. Didn't nobody know about WIN Counseling Services. So we joined the boot camp here so that we can establish a footprint. We're also located in the Atascocita area, but we do a lot of business in the Conroe area. So thank you.
Well, Donnie, I appreciate it. True entrepreneurs here today, ladies and gentlemen. I've talked to some of them before we went on, and as you learn about their businesses and the opportunity to get that education that Dr. Woock and I talked about, it's a critical element, again, based on my experience and what I learned, to have that experience in business. Yeah, we always talk about the accounting, bookkeeping, we talk about the processing, orders and all that kind of education. Well, there's a lot of education available there, but the idea, I think, paramount is the team, Donnie. I think having a team, I work as a Silver Fox advisor And that's one of our main purposes as Silver Fox Advisors, is to mentor teams or roundtables of people, entrepreneurs, business owners, small business owners, to give them a connection with other small business owners. So I've seen firsthand, and when I was in business, I was part of roundtables that were available, either industry or otherwise. So encourage that. I want to thank each of you for taking time today to share your story openly, and encourage you as you go forward, share that story with other vets, other people that are considering to be an entrepreneur or small business owner, because it really does. You mentioned pushing the rope. Well, it sort of tugs people, it gets them started, and they may have a great idea, they may have passion, but the idea to connect with business people, particularly those who have been there, done it, and continue to do it. So thank you all very much. Thank you for your service to your country. Each of you has served this country, and I wish you the very, very best. Much success to you, your families, as you move forward in business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to the Weekly Business Hour. Rick Schissler. I hope you enjoyed that conversation that we had with those outstanding entrepreneurs. As I said, an interesting array of businesses and some really smart people. It's just so fantastic when you meet entrepreneurs, people who have started businesses, and all the excitement and the passion, and you just hope they keep it going just like yourselves. You're listening to this. So thank you, Dr. Woock, for having us. If you'd like more information on that program, just reach out to the University of St. Thomas here in their Conroe branch. It's located downtown. Carla runs the place. She does a wonderful job. They have all kinds of programming there, and it's a great place to take a class. I've taken classes there myself. So reach out to the people at the University of St. Thomas, Dr. Patrick Woock, about entrepreneurship and many, many other topics that they do offer. Well, before we go to the bottom of the hour break, I want to let you know what's coming up in the second half of our show. I'm going to pull an item from the mailbag. John B. sent in a question. We talk a lot about marketing and so on and so forth, and the point that John brings up, he says, well, what about advertising? Advertising is part of marketing, but the two kind of get used interchangeably. But what John says is, what can I as a small business do? His question, what can I do as a small business to advertise my business? What out there works right now? Lots of choices, digital, there's still the old paper print methodology, direct mail and things. So we're going to talk about that a little bit and try to make sure that John understands his choices, and hopefully it'll be of benefit to you. So please stay around with us, and we'll talk about advertising and what works for small businesses in general today. So please stay with us, and I'll be right back with you.
Remember to download the Lone Star Community Radio app from your Google Play Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM 104.5, 106.1. If you are on your computer, bookmark irlonestar.com as your internet radio station. Lone Star Community Radio, broadcasting 24/7 from the heart of downtown Conroe, Texas.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Weekly Business Hour, and I'm Rick Schissler. I'm a host. I'm a Silver Fox advisor, as well as the founder of OneBestConsult.com. Well, in the second half of the show, we're going to be talking about advertising due to a question that was sent in by one of our listeners. But before I get there, let me mention something to you. If you have your business here in the Montgomery County area, particularly in the county seat here in Conroe, Texas, one of the fastest growing cities in America, as well as Montgomery County, one of the fastest growing counties, then consider being a sponsor of this program, the Weekly Business Hour. It's very, very easy to do, and I think you'll find it extremely cost-effective in the sense that you become a sponsor, a donor to Lone Star Community Radio. We'd like to see those donations. Obviously, this is your community radio station, and the Weekly Business Hour is your source, particularly for local news related to business. So please reach out to me. You can do it through the station. Just send me an email, Rick, R-I-C-K, at irlonestar.com. That's Rick at irlonestar.com. And I'll send you some information back, and then we can talk about it. But I'd love to include you as a sponsor of the Weekly Business Hour. Well, let's jump in the mailbag. And I don't mean that literally. Let's just reach in and pull out this bit of mail or email that I received from John B., and it had to do with advertising. The fact that today, obviously, the advertising business, like so many businesses, so many tools that we have in our toolbox, is going through transition. Because on one hand, you have the old tried and true methods of print advertising, which could be newspaper ads, it could be direct mail, it could be a handout, a flyer, anything that you print on a piece of paper and try to put in someone's hands that advertises or markets your business. And then on the other hand, we have digital advertising, which has several different forms, and we'll touch on those. But John was asking, what should he do? Well, I think, first of all, the first step you have to make, as you do with marketing, is you need to establish a budget. You need to decide what you need to spend to bring in the customers that will deliver the revenue that you're looking for in your business. Excuse me. A lot of businesses will just go out and spend money. And advertising is no different. They will spend money on advertising for this, that, and they're not really sure, well, at the end of the year, I'm a little tight on money, so I'm not going to advertise. That's the worst reason not to advertise. Try to set up a little bit of a budget. I mean, businesses typically spend 2, 3, 4, 5 or more % on their advertising and marketing as well. But 2 or 3% on advertising itself, meaning you're spending money typically with third parties to deliver to you either print advertising or help you on the digital so that you get better return on your investment. Either way, set a budget. Set a budget. It could be a dollar figure, yes, but in my mind, the percentage of sales is one as your growth comes and as you move through the year, and you can reset it anytime you want. Don't misunderstand. And if you want, go out and check your industry, and you'll find, typically, you're able to find what percentages some of the businesses in your industry are using to advertise and typically marketing. Again, they're kind of lumped together. But let's talk about some of those different kinds of advertising. First of all, there's print advertising. That's what most of us who've been in business for 10 years or more, we're familiar with it because we've done it. Newspaper ads, handouts, direct mail, all the various forms of print advertising. I personally believe, and the folks I talk to, the people I work with, the clients I have, they all still do some print advertising. And the type you use is going to depend on your business, where you're located, and what your customer base looks like. In other words, if you're a local restaurant and you're drawing from a certain area, certain neighborhood, certain part of the town, the county is where your main business comes from, print advertising oftentimes will be the most direct way to connect with those people. So don't write off print advertising. Direct mail still has a place. Yes, it is expensive. The cost of postage just seems to go up, up, up. But it is a way to directly reach the audience that you're seeking to influence to do business with you. And it's one of the most important, I still believe, a very important way, particularly to local groups. Now, if you're selling a product in a state, a region, or even nationally, print advertising could take the form of an advertisement in a national publication or a local or regional publication. I still think there's room in the budget, or should be room, for that type of advertising as well. But again, the direct mail, I think, is one that really people need to make sure that they have a handle on it. And then I think having a good flyer or brochure, depending on your business, is a good thing to have, whether you mail it or you just make it available or you put it in a package when you mail something out or people come in and buy something, you drop it in the package to remind them of something about your business or a special or whatever you want to put. So I think that definitely, to have something on paper about your business Again, it could be a special anything. To be able to utilize it in some way or multiple ways is a good thing to do as well. Paid search advertising, SEO. We've all heard that word. I'm going to make an assumption that most, if not all of us, understand SEO in its basic sense, search engine optimization. And that's a whole field in itself, okay? It has to do with your website, communications that you put out on the web, the internet, and you need to make sure your website and any other information you post on the web is optimized with the keywords that will draw people to your business. It's a great form of advertising. Unfortunately, many of us think it is free, and it's not. If you're really optimizing things, you're going to engage a third party to assist you unless you have someone on your payroll that understands the ins and outs. And then there's a part of that where you can pay to change your ranking of, say, your website. That type of advertising pays off, if you will, but it works for many, many industries, many businesses. And it can work on a hyper-local basis, too. My example of the restaurant, it's available there. But these paid advertising ads can work. And to me, though, again, they're a backup for direct mail if you're hyper-local with a restaurant or local grocery store or a local hardware store. You need to have some print advertising. I hate to keep going back to that, but I feel it's important and shouldn't be ignored. And then you can look at using paid advertising. My encouragement, though, two things. One is find someone who is really good at doing these kind of things and pay them to assist, direct, or even place your advertising. And the second thing is make sure every time you do this kind of advertising, and it includes your website, make sure you have a strong call to action program, have a button, have information. You want to bring the people into the website. You want them to connect. Don't do anything without a strong call to action. Social media is another way. Simply putting things on Facebook, telling your story. There's lots of opportunities in various social medias. LinkedIn, a lot of different areas that you can work with. And display advertising is available online as well. This is paid. Again, I highly recommend you find a third-party expert. They're sometimes hard to locate because there's a lot of people out there that are, I don't want to call them scammers, but they're not going to have your best interest at heart. And then you have PR and media relations. I think PR is another area that many people fail to take consideration when they do it. I believe every business can benefit from having a PR person to help connect you with everything that's going on in the area. Again, particularly if you're a local business, PR is the most efficient way that I have found with the right PR person to put your business out there, to advertise your business and draw people into your business. So consider that. Lots to think about. If you have a question about something about this, please reach out to me. I'm here at the radio station at rick@irlonestar.com, or you can contact me at my website, onebestconsult@gmail.com. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining us today. Thank you again to Dr. Woock and all of his fantastic veteran-owned entrepreneurs, veteran-owned business, their entrepreneurship. They bring a lot of great information and encouragement to all of us. And put a note on your calendar. Next week, 11 o'clock, Monday, we're going to be here. We've got some exciting guests and some new topics to talk about, so I encourage you to join us. And if you miss a segment or you want to re-listen, we will post on Wednesday of this week. It'll be available all over social media. Will be a complete rewind there for you of this program today. So we encourage you to look anywhere on Facebook, the Weekly Business Hour. And again, until next week, stay engaged and always keep your focus on what is important to your business. Thank you.